Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon. Tonika, how are you doing today?
Good, thank you. Good afternoon, Kat. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. I'm so pleased to see you today. So pleased to have this opportunity to welcome you in my community. And before we go any further, I just want to have a look if we are live on Facebook, if we are visible. So tell me, how are you doing today so far?
It's been a busy day, but good, thank you. It's been busy, but good. So
Good.
I give God praise and thanks. Spare my life to see another day.
Amazing. We are live. We're on Facebook, Mind Balance Solutions Facebook, and hopefully on LinkedIn. I haven't checked LinkedIn, but I can see we are live. So we all good. Welcome to my community. Welcome to your community today. The reason why we would like to do live with you, Tonika, is to find out about the Windrush scheme. This is something personally interests me as a person from Eastern Europe, especially me reading about your community, understanding your community. And recently I advocate for multicultural hub to establish here in Liverpool. So welcome to my community. And I would love to know, Tanika, more about yourself. So introduce yourself. Who are you and what you do here in Liverpool?
Thank you very much for that wonderful introduction. Again, my name is Tanika Stevenson. I I am a human being first and foremost. I say that for emphasis purposes.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll explain why a bit later. Secondly, I wear many hats. So it depends on which day, who I need to be. I am that person. And I'm sure almost everyone can relate to the hats that we all have to wear in this day and age just to survive.
Oh, good
I'm
one.
a student of life. I love learning. So to that end, I am a PhD candidate, just about to start my third year of my research in law.
Wow.
I Thank you. I am a barrister unregistered, meaning I have been called to the bar, but I don't have my practicing certificate yet. Still got to get pupillage. I'm working on applying for pupillage, which is 1 year course. I am also a Windrush advocate and champion.
Lovely.
I am a county court advocate. I am a level 6 undergraduate tutor. I wear several hats. I wasn't exaggerating. And
Oh,
I'm also a British Army veteran. So I've served over a decade in the Army.
wow.
Yes.
What
So
a
that's
woman you are. What a woman you are. Fabulous introduction, Tanika. Thank you very
thank
much.
you.
So, very quickly, my name is Katie Gajawe. I am a counselor, psychotherapist, mental health mentor, and I am passionate about community, passionate about joining together and being together, understanding and learn from each other. And Tanika, I want you to tell us a little bit more about this scheme. This is quite interesting. What is Windrush?
That's a very good question. And I recently reminded myself of what it is because it keeps changing the schemes.
Mm-hmm.
And by staying up to date, you get more understanding and a simplified version. So credit to the Home Office. The latest version that they have, for example, the caseworker's guidance, is a bit clearer.
Mm-hmm.
To answer your question, what is Windrush? Windrush was the term given to a cohort of people who have been adversely affected by legislation and policies that
Mm-hmm.
lend themselves to their immigration status. However, the word came from a ship in the Empire that came to the UK after the Second World War in 1948.
Mm-hmm.
The UK invited people from the Commonwealth and around the world to help rebuild England after the Second World War.
Yes.
And unfortunately, that's where the name comes from. They've coined it because although they were invited here, people from around the world, especially the Caribbean, they were not welcomed when they got to the dock.
Mm.
They were invited, but it came off the boat. They met signs saying no Irish, no blacks, no dogs. Could not find accommodation to rent, even though they were paying passengers on the ship to come over. There were well educated individuals, skilled laborers. Example, we have the NHS today as a result of that, a
Yes.
result of those people that came over. And successive employees who've worked hard to give us the NHS we have today, which is amazing. And over the years, the government has made it harder and harder for people to access benefits, to access jobs, access employment, if they could not prove that they had a lawful right to be here in the UK.
Mm.
Rightfully so, if someone came illegally, certain checks and balances need to be in place. However, these people that fall under the Windrush terminology, they were British, but by birth.
Yeah.
Meaning, because Britain colonialized their countries and Britain was still the government, or the king or queen at the time was still head of state of that country, they had all the rights as someone born in the UK,
Hmm.
but for the fact that they were not born in the UK. They could
Mm.
have been born in Germany, for example, but they were still British, born in Czechoslovakia, France, wherever, but they were still British because Britain was still the head of state for that country.
Wow. Wow. Let's take a moment because there's a piece of history, Nika. Piece of history. And for Polish people that they don't really, and I know I can see a few people listening now, and for those who don't understand Windrush, is just black and white. Can you please explain? So your community is coming on a boat in
Yes,
England. Welcome to rebuild country after war.
yes.
And what's happening then? And you're not welcome.
They
Wow.
weren't, but they still stayed because the motherland called. England, that's how we were taught.
Yeah.
England, the motherland, the mother country. We come to help rebuild the mother country.
Mhm.
Their children and grandchildren, as a result, are suffering today because when they came, they were British. They did not need a passport to show, well, here's my British passport, for example,
Yeah.
because they were British until their countries gained their independence. And the UK passed legislation in 1973, 71 that came into force 1973. They didn't have to, but they didn't know because they were already here living their lives, having their families, working hard, being good citizens.
Yes.
What happened in 1973 also was that the UK joined the EU at that time, which meant free movement of goods, free movement of people, the benefits that come with being part of the European Union. Then legislation, the Immigration Act of 1973 that came into force, said that, and it reads along the lines of it was put in place to reduce the migration of Black and brown people, put
Ah,
simply.
wow. Wow. Do you know what? I'm so pleased you're sharing this with us because I don't think my community, maybe some of us, understand. We usually look at the Second World War because it affected Europe very much, affected the world, but we're not looking at what was happening in between. And this is a huge
Yes.
problem. I've had a client from your community not long ago, and she said, Katie, I've not had a passport, I've not traveled because of this situation on Windrush generational issue. And I could not believe in my ears what I'm hearing. But so how are you helping? You're unregistered barrister, you are, educated woman, you are doing around law quite a lot. Tell us how you can help us, how we can help maybe Eastern European community.
Thank you for asking that. So I made mention that England joined the European Union in 1973, and the Windrush Scheme covers the period of 1948 to 1988, 31st of December, that anyone who came to the UK and had lawful status at the time,
Mhm.
but for retention of that evidence. So,
Yeah.
for example, people came from Poland. People from Poland were also on the ship in 1948.
Wow.
Yes.
Whoa.
It's so people from the European Union, put simply, have been affected, are affected. Their children, their grandchildren, and they can claim on behalf of their grandparents, their parents, and
Mhm.
themselves. So
Mm.
if you look at the Home Office website, sorry, the Home Office, the government website, the
Yeah.
fact sheet, it states that the most successful claimants to the Windrush schemes today are from the EU. Over 4,000 and something people have successfully rectified their status. So it's
Wow.
not a black and brown issue. It's not just a Commonwealth or Caribbean or African Asian issue. It's a global issue and it affects everyone. So, what I would like to implore your community and us as all human beings, going back to my first statement, I'm a human being. We're persons who I personally have not been affected. My family have not been affected, but I want to help. If you have been affected, how we can help you is that we help you apply to the schemes. If you're eligible, first you have to rectify your status. So if you came here when you were a baby, you came on your mom's passport, you didn't need a passport or travel document, but people move homes,
Yeah.
they move countries sometimes, or things get lost, misplaced, destroyed. You have no evidence that you had lawful status at the time to be here,
Hmm.
but you have other evidence, or we can write off to the Home Office or other departments that assist you to get that evidence. You can rectify your status.
Sure.
If you've been negatively affected or impacted, i.e., you can prove your status, you can then apply for compensation through the compensation part of the schemes. We
Mm.
do this for free.
Yeah.
Our organization, Liverpool Advocates for Windrush, we've just partnered with Liverpool John Moore University, the Legal Advice Clinic. Thank you.
Well
They
done.
are one of the largest pro bono clinics in Europe and in the world. We're so amazed at this partnership and collaboration because we could not and cannot, as an organization, handle the claims if they were to come through. Now we have access to student led clinics supervised by solicitors,
I see.
and you will get free legal advice. So if you have a family matter which is outside or maybe related to the Windrush schemes, there's family solicitors who can help. We're we're here to serve our communities.
Mm. Can I just ask you, you were saying how to check. This is quite interesting. Maybe we can copy and paste this link under the post here or live. How we can check we are eligible, how we know even we are affected. You said about the link, where we can find the link.
Unfortunately, there's no app as yet. As we know, for all the schemes that the Home Office administers, there are apps. There's no app for the Windrush scheme as yet.
Mm-hmm.
We, as an organization, in collaboration with Liverpool John Moore University, we're working to develop an app. Fingers crossed for us, we do get an app, and you can be in the comfort of your home and you can check to see whether you're eligible.
Yes.
However, you have to do some research, or you can go on our website. We'll add we're at, we're trying to get our website up to date so that we have all these links, useful links that you can just go and click one place, one stop shop. We're not there as yet, unfortunately. We're just a small charitable organization trying to help people whilst do the administrative tasks. But the long and short of it is, Kat, you have to search Windrush schemes and look for the gov link, government link, the gov.uk link, and that will take you to where you need to be. Unfortunately, they're really lengthy documents.
That's
Check
why
what should.
we need you. That's why we need solicitors. That's why we need to help. Hi, Wojtek. Nice to see you. That's why we need such a and powerful woman like you. Can I just ask you? Could I share some email or contact details under this live, just in case if this is such a difficult matter and if people won't understand lengthy language and paper, could they contact you directly? If so, what we can share with them?
Yes. So I'll send you our website, which is liverpooladvocateswindrush.org. The
Sure.
name as it is on the screen.org, and that will give you our contact details. Alternatively, we'll try to populate it with more relevant information, but we are not there yet, unfortunately.
Hmm.
We are getting there. So I
Okay.
claim it in the name of Jesus. The
Sure.
other thing that I want to bring to your community's attention, which is really important, as of the 31st of December 2024, the government has announced that there's no longer going to be a physical BRP card. You know, the little pink
Yes.
card you get when you, there's no longer going to be a physical one. It's going to be digital. So you have to register before the 31st of December 2024 for a BRP card. I say you have to. It's not mandatory, but I strongly advise you to,
Yes.
from someone within the Windrush space, because as of the 1st of January 2025, you'll have to evidence that you've been in the UK legally.
Mm.
And you have to provide, I think, a year's worth of documents or maybe more, depends on when the scheme or the more information come out, and that we'll know. However, that process is being termed the digital Windrush Scandal. So we have the Windrush Scandal, which broke in 2018 now. That one, they say, is estimated to affect over 200,000 people.
Wow. How many people you've helped so far, Tonika? Can you share that with us?
I, that's a good question. I don't know. I haven't kept count. I just answer the phone if somebody call and deal with it, or if they're referred to me by my colleague. So I don't know. Maybe under 100 I've personally dealt with.
Hmm.
Collaboratively, I don't know. Some people are not eligible. But what's worse, as a counselor, Kat, you'll know that when people call you, they just don't want to get their issues rectified that they may be calling you for. They want
Traumatizing
someone to
them.
listen
Yeah.
to them.
Yeah.
They want someone to just, yeah, it's okay. I'm not going to share your information with anyone else. I understand. I empathize. I sympathize. They just want somebody just know that this has happened to them.
Yeah, it's interesting. So let's summarize. You can't even count how many people you've had, but I know you did a lot. I know you did a lot. So there is a vast majority community that you are helping. This legal advice is for free, which you support community. We can check with you. You give us the details here, so we can
Yeah.
put them under the live. How people can contact you and so on. How many people could be affected if they won't really look at this matter now?
That's a very good question. The Home Office, their data said they've helped over 16,000 people so far.
16.
However, they don't know how many are affected. So,
Yeah.
one of the features of the scheme is that if you were here, but you left the country for a certain period of time, so for Commonwealth citizens,
Mhm.
if you were here and you left for more than 2 years, you would have lost your status.
Mm.
However, for Europeans, if they had left equally the same as Commonwealth citizens, they had to be out of the country for 5 years before they lost their status. So a
Wow.
lot of people may have left the UK because it was cold or they wanted to go back home,
Mhm.
but then want to return to the UK a bit later. They could not.
Mhm. Mhm. Wow.
So people are locked out, essentially out of the UK. How many are affected by that? We don't know. Bearing in mind, the UK joined the European Union in 1973. So
Yeah.
between 1973 and 1988,
What was
you-
happening there? Interesting. Interesting, and it's interesting to see your point of view. I know we had a chat yesterday, and you got me thinking about this Windrush. And I've been seeing this recently in a. There was a case. There was quite a lot information on the LinkedIn, and I thought I need to bring you on a board just to see how you can help community. So we've shared the link that you've shared with me, so it's already on live. If someone needs help from solicitor like yourself, from barrister like yourself, Tanika, we can contact you directly using
yes,
this link.
yes,
You
that's
see,
the fact sheet I just put in there so people can see that that's a scheme on who has been helped. That's from the government, the Home Office.
hmm
That's their fact sheet. But because I'm not qualified as a barrister yet, I cannot give legal advice in my own right. working with the solicitors that I do, depending on what capacity it is, I can through them, through their practicing certificates. But the
Yeah.
solicitors I've worked with, they have years of experience. And where it comes to immigration, we will signpost you if we cannot help you because of the schemes. You do not need to have immigration qualifications, even though they lends
Yeah.
or they lend themselves to immigration rules. We just read and interpret what a policy states and help you to better understand it. That's
Mm,
what we do. Because
mm.
unfortunately, it has terminologies that
Yeah. It's
lends
not
themselves.
not for people, isn't it? I understand. I see quite a lot of this. So we do not, do this on daily basis. So we won't understand like solicitors or yourself. I think you're quite modest around your background, educational background. But I understand what you're saying. It's similar in my practice. Last but not least, can I just ask you, because as a you're working with people, I'm working with people, you see, probably they traumatized, or probably they need to go back to the past, which is strongly advisable. Look at here and now in psychotherapy, especially cognitive behavior therapy. How do you see people, what is happening to them when they need to go back to the past and talk about this?
That's a really good but sad question, frankly put. I'm asking you, a client who needs our help to rectify their status, to go back 50 years. This year, we celebrated 76 years. So we asked you to go back 70 years. Tell
Yes.
me about any difficulties you've encountered because you could not prove your lawful status to be here. Bearing in mind, you came as a child, or you came under you as an adult parent. You came because you were invited. You came
Mm,
here legally, and you could not prove that. You were discriminated against because of the color of your skin, because the way you spoke. You experienced racism. You were denied opportunities that white passing counterparts were not.
mhm,
Maybe because you were female.
mhm,
Several things, but none of those are covered under the schemes. You
mhm,
had, and the only thing that is, do you have to prove that because you could not prove your lawful status.
mhm,
Last week, we launched our partnership with Liverpool John Moore University Legal Advice Clinic. And one of our guest speakers, his name is Shane Smith. His
mhm,
mother is white British. I
mhm.
say that to explain the dynamics and how it actually operates in reality. He was born in a Caribbean country called Trinidad and Tobago, Trinidad,
Yes,
part
yes.
of it. His mom brought him back from Trinidad when he was 4 months old. 4 months old. He's now in his 40s. One day, his employer, who he'd worked with, say, for example, 10 to 15 years, not remember the exact details, said to him, bring in, you need to prove his status because he's mixed,
Wow. Yeah.
mixed heritage. He didn't need to travel anywhere, so didn't have a passport. I don't have anything. I don't. Why do you need to have worked for you for so long? Like, okay. He lost his job, he lost his home, his mental health deteriorated. And he spoke to us last week. He said that having to relive that today, it re-traumatizes him every time,
Wow.
basically. Asking people to answer your question more directly, it re-traumatizes them. Having them to dredge up things they've never spoken about because they had confidence to,
Yeah.
didn't know how to, but now they have to if they want to move forward with their lives. Families have been separated as a result. So I implore everyone and anyone listening or watching this video or live, even after, please check your status. Please come forward if you're eligible on the Windrush schemes. If you don't know if you're eligible, join us for our Sunday Q&A, which is the first Sunday of every month. We've posted our website link. The next Q&A is on Sunday. If you want to know, well, what is Windrush? Am I eligible?
Mm.
Ask us. And even if you're not sure, we'll help you to find out if you are.
Wow, you talking to me about this, and I got in my head the situation, the story that my grandmother during Second World War was telling me, that she was on a ship to England, eh, and she was in England and she left. She didn't like here. I need to dig this more, to be perfectly honest. This is quite interesting. And as you said, on the ship, on this particular ship, it was quite few Polish people. Have you served any of Eastern European or Polish person yet?
No, I have not. And
Mm.
that's why I'm trying to one break down the misconception that it's a black or brown, Caribbean, African, Asian only affected or Commonwealth only. Bearing in mind the Windrush schemes as is published by the government today does list only Commonwealth countries as being affected to give. If I was to look at it on the face of it, I'll think, well, this is a Commonwealth issue. But it's not. If you look at the successful applicants to the scheme, majority are from the EU.
Wow, this is interesting.
As per their fact sheet, their data. Having said that, just as you've mentioned about your grandmother, if your grandmother was affected, you can claim on her behalf as the grandchild. Even if she's passed on, God forbid, you can claim on behalf of a deceased estate for compensation if she has been impacted.
Well, I've got actually a book about my family. My father gave it to me, so I'm going to have a look because I know she traveled a lot. It's interesting. It's very interesting. And actually, I have a pictures. My grandmother living with in your community. This is crazy.
Good.
This is so crazy. I'll send it to you in a private message. This is so crazy. Tanika, any last words? Anything you would like to add? This is an interesting scheme. This is a very important scheme, not only for your community, but for my community too. You're a knowledgeable woman. Anything you wanted to add and let the people know what else you can help them?
If you have a legal issue, we may not be able to help you with every and anything. But if we can't, we can signpost you to colleagues who can.
Mm-hmm.
If you're unsure whether you're affected by the Windrush schemes, whether you need to get your status rectified under the scheme or you want to claim compensation through the schemes, reach out to us. Let us help you. Our services are free.
Exactly.
You can't get better than free.
Yeah, what is better than free? Exactly. Legal advice. Can I just ask you as well, do you help people across England or just Liverpool?
Across the world, people have reached out to us from wherever, Caribbean, Asia, wherever you are. We're here to help. We're not turning anyone away. If we can't help you, we'll make it very clear we cannot help you. The advantage that we have now is that at the university, the Pro Bono Clinic, there are multinational students who speaks different languages. I do not speak Polish, but we can find someone who speaks Polish well enough, if not fluently, that can help the Polish community or whichever other community may need our support.
Absolutely. Tonika, thank you very much for your time. I think we got really good information here from you. Thank you for finding time, visiting, us, reaching out to me, and really, talk about this issue with a passion, really, because it is a passion what you do. I have a passion for my community. You have a passion. What could go wrong when we have two women so passionate? We can only have, and we helping for free. So please reach out. There is links that I've sent here. Mike just said, I maybe send a Mike info here. Show, look, can you see that? He said,
yes,
damn, thanks, awesome to know about your organization. Exactly, Mike, thank you very much for coming and listening today. Thank you very much. I will speak to you privately, and for today, take care.
Thank you. Bye, Kat.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.